So I'd like to say thank you very much to NUS for inviting me along here, and I want to congratulate them on the report. It's an excellent report, and I know a lot of work has gone into it. And it's saying all the things that we have been saying for years, but sometimes it needs someone else to say the same thing. Broken students, broken education, and it is broken. And I'll tell you why it's broken. It's broken because for years, colleges run by principals in their own fiefdoms have been running it to suit themselves and not students. Vanity projects, ridiculous things that go on, like a personal chef or a principal in the city of Glasgow. The name of the principal was Little, and he had a little chef. Get it? Right. So why has this happened? Poor unchecked governance, chronic underfunding, lack of recognition for what colleges do. This government does not recognise colleges. They don't know what they do. They don't understand them, and they're not interested. Willie Rennie spoke about indifference, and it's exactly that. They are indifferent. They won't be indifferent when they need a plumber, or an engineer, or a care worker. Where do you think these people come from? Magic. We're called the Cinderella service for a reason, because we are forgotten about. Instead of being seen as a linchpin between schools and universities, we're seen as a poor relation in education, and we are not. There are three ugly sisters. Pantomime mode. First ugly sister, College Employers Scotland. College Employers Scotland are so hell-bent on punishing workers for taking part in industrial action and attacking workers for taking industrial action, but they fail to fight the people who are actually causing the problem, the government. Second ugly sister, Funding Council. Ellie said earlier that budgets are about choices. We spoke to Graham Day and asked about the 26 million that we got and then was taken away. And he said, we had no choice. And I said, no, you had a choice. It maybe wasn't your choice, but you had a choice and you chose to do this. They also taking no ownership of the impact of the cuts. We had a meeting with the Funding Council and they said, we didn't tell colleges to cut courses. Oh no, but you don't give them any more money. And I said, but we didn't tell them what courses to cut. And I said, well, maybe you should have, because if you don't, it becomes a postcode lottery across the country. And then people are not getting the same access to college education. And the biggest ugly sister of them all, Scottish Government. Sorry.
Yeah, keep it quiet.
Scottish Government, biggest ugly sister of them all. Sitting, letting this happen, watching the destruction of college for years. We are at rock bottom. I cannot tell you how low morale is in colleges. Good people are leaving. The amount of staff that have gone through VS, the amount of young staff that are coming in and then leaving saying they cannot handle it, because year after year we're threatened with redundancy. And year after year we have to fight to get a pay rise. I'm getting an operation tomorrow for my knee. I've waited less time for an NHS operation for my knee than I have for a pay rise. That's not good. Yeah, come out of it. So they're not listening. And they're not listening to us, but I really hope they're listening to you. Because if they don't listen to you, then what's going to happen? You are the future of our country. You are the people that are going to keep the economy going and pay for my pension, I hope. But the impact of this is really, really important. It's devastation of courses in the college sector. There's so many people now that don't have the course that they thought they were going to have next year. And there's two groups of students that I'm really worried about. One is students with ASN, additional support needs. College courses are being cut left, right and centre for those students. And where classes were very small because of funding, they're being doubled up, so they're getting less support. Now, we know that some colleges are cutting their ESN provision by 30%. I also know that schools have got 30% more ESN students in schools. So where are these people going to go? I'll tell you where they'll end up. They'll end up with well-meaning charities who offer courses and offer placements and offer activities that are little more than day centres that will exclude ESN students from our society, and that is not acceptable. Never was, never will be. The other group of students are apprentices. Ben will speak out later on, but apprentices, and there's a national disgrace that apprentices in Scotland, and there is no provision to have a minimum amount of training and a minimum length of training. So it's very easy for government to think, just give the apprenticeships to private sector people and they'll do it cheaper. They will do it cheaper. But for courses like engineering, care, social care, where is the quality in that? Do you really want somebody that's done a 6 months course or a 6-week course in engineering fitting your heating? Really? No. They keep talking about funding. And the answer for the Three Ugly Sisters is to cut staffing, because staffing is the biggest financial burden. I am not a financial burden.
Yeah.
I'm a fully qualified specialist with a teaching qualification who's registered with the General Teaching Council. And I'm part of a group of people who support students, and not in a transactional way, in a way that is relationship bound, a way that helps support people to be the best that they can and to do the best that they can. And we are there for our students. Often when they are finished work, lunchtime, we are the support for them. So do not tell me I am a financial burden. I am not. So judge us on our education. Well, let's just do that, shall we? College of Scotland failed. Failed in governance, failed to fight. Do better.
Yes.
Funding Council, the regulatory body that never regulates anything. Do better. The Scottish Government, step in before it's too late. Do much, much better. Solidarity.